They tried to silence him. They locked him away for 27 years. They called him a terrorist. But what they didn't know was that they were creating a legend. A man who walked through fire and never burned. A man who had every reason to hate, but chose love instead. How did a simple boy from a small village rise to become one of the greatest leaders in history? How did he survive decades of brutal imprisonment, only to emerge stronger than ever? This is the untold journey of the man who changed the world, Nelson Mandela. But to understand his story, we must go back to where it all began. July 18, 1918, in a small village called Mvezo, South Africa. Nelson Mandela was born into the Thembu royal family of the Xhosa people. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakaniiswa Mandela, was a respected chief, but little Nelson never dreamed of becoming a leader. His real name? Rolihlahla, meaning troublemaker. And indeed, he would live up to that name in ways no one could have imagined. At age 7, he became the first in his family to attend school, where his teacher gave him an English name Nelson, a colonial tradition at the time. By the time he was a teenager, tragedy struck. His father passed away, leaving him under the care of a regent, Chief Janjantaba Dalandibo. This unexpected change exposed young Nelson to leadership, justice, and the art of diplomacy, lessons that would later shape him into the great leader he became. He attended Fort Hare University, where he studied law and became involved in student activism. But soon, his rebellious spirit got him expelled for leading a protest. Little did he know, this was just the beginning of his fight against oppression. In 1941, Mandela fled to Johannesburg to escape an arranged marriage. What he found there was something even worse: racial injustice at its peak. South Africa was under apartheid, a brutal system where black South Africans were not allowed to vote, own land, or even walk freely in white areas. Mandela knew this was wrong. So, he joined the African National Congress, ANC, a political group fighting for black rights. By the 1950s, he became a leader in the Defiance Campaign, encouraging peaceful protests against unjust laws. But the government responded with violence. In 1960, the government massacred 69 people in Sharpeville for protesting. That was the breaking point. Mandela and his comrades made a difficult decision. If the government used violence, they had no choice but to fight back. He co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, MK, the armed wing of the ANC, and led sabotage attacks against government buildings, never targeting people, just symbols of oppression. But in 1962, he was caught and arrested. And then, the moment that would define his life arrived. At the famous Rivonia trial in 1964, Mandela stood before his oppressors and declared words that shook the world. "I have fought against white domination and I have fought against black domination. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." Mandela was sentenced to life in prison on Robben Island, a desolate place where prisoners were forced into hard labor. For 27 years, he endured beatings, loneliness, and humiliation. But instead of breaking, he grew stronger. He studied, he wrote, and most importantly, he forgave. Even from behind bars, he became a symbol of hope. People around the world chanted, "Free Mandela!" Finally, after global pressure and protests, South Africa's government had no choice. On February 11, 1990, Nelson Mandela walked free. In 1994, South Africa held its first free elections, and the people voted overwhelmingly for Mandela to be their first black president. Instead of revenge, he chose reconciliation. He even invited his former prison guards to his inauguration. His leadership ended apartheid, proving that love is stronger than hate. After stepping down in 1999, Mandela spent his final years fighting for peace, education, and against HIV/AIDS. On December 5, 2013, at the age of 95, he passed away. But his memory still lives on. Nelson Mandela is proof that one man's courage can change the world, that freedom is worth fighting for, and that, in the end, love always wins. If you were inspired by Nelson Mandela's story, hit like, share this video, and subscribe for more powerful stories of real-life heroes.